Amelia. I do think she'll be able to come back and get that because she got, 1 out of 3, so it was clearly borderline. It moved well, and that's exactly the type of opener you want. So you can make that adjustment and then just take a little more aggressive jump from second to third.
Yeah, and she seems to have made the sensible decision of retaking the same weight.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah, really speedy there. And a good lift. And a lot of the time, especially in this situation, you're not losing anything by going over to them and asking because you just want to get that.
Oh, I'm actually seeing the jury making some hand signals, putting a thumb up.
Seems like they are overturning that last lift to a good lift for Patelli.
Okay, so that borderline decision looks like it was just on the right side of the right border.
Which means she now has a squat in and continue to build a total. We have Amran of Singapore now with 165 kilos. And 10 kilos didn't seem to add too much to the bar for her. Over your second to your third.
100% agree. And sometimes when you see someone go quickly and then quickly on the way up, your brain goes, well, they must have cut depth because that was far too easy. But no, she's just that strong.
Yeah. Nadhirah Amran of Singapore, 172.5 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump from her second.
And all of her attempts have moved quite well. I think she's probably good on this so long as she can keep everything in position and not make any technical errors. That's a beautiful squat and an interesting sticking point.
The opposite approach where they sink it very quickly into their chest, and try and use some of that momentum to get the bar up.
And that is a skill in and of itself, taking a more aggressive descent, being faster, trying to get the benefits of that stretch reflex, but maintaining control. And if you don't train like it regularly, it can be very challenging.
Nadhirah Amran of Singapore, opening with 85 kilos.
Moves well, or even a quad as they're benching, especially in the heavier weights. So leg drive is a factor.
Yeah, and her feet were a bit more back, so it tends to favor that a little bit more as well. Nadhirah Amran of Singapore, 92.5 kilos for her second attempt.
And Amelia, to what I was mentioning earlier, I'm typically not doing 5 kilo jumps until a lifter is into the 80s or 90 kilo bench presses. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, and there's a good lift at, the tail end of her strength today.
And it's better to be a little conservative versus going over and losing unnecessary kilos. Let's see if she's good for it, or maybe she'll surprise herself. I think she accurately gauged where she was at, although I do think she got a little out of position there.
And I think as we get into the bigger weight classes for men and women, the lockouts sometimes can be harder to see. But she gets the lift nonetheless, and we have Nadhirah Amran of Singapore opening with 167.5 kilos.
Another sumo deadlifter. This one's a little more clear on the lockout, and I don't suspect.
So she seems in safe ground right now. Nadhirah Amran of Singapore jumping 10 kilos to 177.5 for her second attempt.
A 10 kilo jump, and she makes it look just nearly as fast. Now you notice this sumo deadlift with your feet.
Attempt.
And Amelia, that would be a lifter who I would try to coach into, if they had the thumb resilience and finger length, into a hook grip, so they wouldn't have to have that much of a asymmetry when pulling, although it does take time to build that resilience in the thumb. Oh, the knees lock and unlock. So was that up down on the bar itself? She's showing you shouldn't do that on the platform.